Can we talk about how cool fuse and all the weapon combos are for a moment? I swear, this is important to the main point of the video. Just let me gush for a moment. Every possible weapon you can find in this game has a special effect, like the soldier set decreasing stamina usage on charged attacks, or the knight set doing more damage at low HP. Then, you can attach literally any other object and change so many additional aspects of the weapon. Do you want something elemental? Blunt or sharp could be important depending on the enemy. Zonai devices provide completely off-the-wall effects, which go away quickly, but are very powerful. Or, you could even fuse with another weapon, which isn't as strong or durable as monster parts, but provides a way longer reach. There are just genuinely so many possibilities for you to put weapons together, and trying them all out is one of my favorite parts of Tears of the Kingdom. So why doesn't this game have an enemy gauntlet? Hi, my name is JustJasen, and I have to tell you to like and subscribe at this point in the video to help my analytics. Enemy gauntlets have been a semi-reoccurring challenge in the Zelda series for a good while now. I believe they started in Wind Waker with the Savage Labyrinth, before appearing again in Twilight Princess's Cave of Ordeals. Versions of this challenge would also appear in some of the handheld games, like Spirit Tracks and A Link Between Worlds. But the most famous of all of them is probably the version featured in Breath of the Wild's DLC, the Trial of the Sword. Trial of the Sword took the player back to basics and forced them to carefully manage their equipment to get through. I remember painstakingly cutting down every single tree so that I could get a couple of acorns and later on cook each piece of wood individually so that I could heal a quarter of a heart from each meal. Despite that, I still wasn't even able to beat it on Master Mode. The point is, it's a tough challenge that pushes the game to its limits, and I think it's easily the best combat dungeon in the series. So, with Tears of the Kingdom being a direct continuation of Breath of the Wild and all of its systems, clearly, the stage was set for an even better gauntlet, with the potential to be even tougher, forcing the player to master every combination in Tears of the Kingdom's wonderful sandbox, to even stand a chance of clearing it. Yeah, no, not at all. Now listen, I adore the combat in these games, but once you amass a big enough arsenal, you become God. Mowing through enemies with unlimited power is absolutely fun, but the stakes become non-existent. Which is what made Eventide and the combat shrine so much fun. Being forced to use whatever you could scrounge up caused the player to have to think strategically in combat, especially in cases where you could use the environment, or avoid fighting altogether. And what made Trial of the Sword the absolute best out of all of these was its length. Eventide and the shrines aren't very long, but Trial of the Sword absolutely takes more time. This does two things. One, you're starting from scratch, but you have time to actually build up an arsenal of weapons to use. Anything you obtain has time to sit in your inventory and become important 3 levels in the future. And secondly, it further raises the stakes. Getting deeper and deeper into the challenge makes death even more nerve-wracking. Dying after the halfway point is devastating. So much Tears of the Kingdom can be cheesed with auto-build and other crazy Zonai devices. Imagine if all of that was more limited. Imagine how carefully you'd have to consider all of your fusions, or when building a vehicle would be the right call, even though you wouldn't be able to bring it with you to the next floor. I'm sorry to say it, but this imaginary Trial of the Sword 2 should have been absolutely goated, and would have easily brought out all of the best parts of Tears of the Kingdom's gameplay. But that's just the surface of how great it could have been. That's how it would have been if it was the same on every playthrough, like the rest of the enemy gauntlets in the series. Now, let's suppose they pull a Splatoon 3 or God of War, and add a level of randomness into this challenge. Random enemies with random weapons and random loot. That's right, I'm saying they steal from Crypto the Necrodancer, Cadence of Hyrule, and give us the Zelda roguelike no one even asked for, but would have been oh so wonderful. Such a mode would add an insane amount of replay value to Tears of the Kingdom, without the player having to start a new save file or impose any sort of self-restricting challenge on themselves. It'd be a dedicated area where all the pieces of the game could come together in the name of creating unique combat possibilities. I would definitely find myself playing a mode like this over and over again. And that's just from a fusing perspective. Think about how much room a dedicated harder area would give the designers room to work with. In the main game, I feel like enemies don't have fused weapons that often, when a Bokama with a spring on his sword and a cannon on his shield would be a f***ing menace. Or how Rizrobes and Gibdos are mostly fought on their own, when they would make combat a lot harder if they were found alongside all the other enemies in the game. This video is mostly just me delving into an imaginary design space, but it really is a shame how Nintendo deconfirmed DLC for this game. There is so much more room to let the systems of this game work, and it's a shame we'll never receive such expansions. No Trial of the Sword, or whatever this enemy gauntlet would have been called, is absolutely the biggest missed opportunity in Tears of the Kingdom. But I hate to end this video on such a downer, So let's get a nice doses of copium, baby! DLC might be deconfirmed, but they haven't said anything about a deluxe version. Let's go, Nintendo Switch 2, Tears of the Kingdom Deluxe on launch, let's go! Trial of the Sword 2.0, Pay to Die Edition, let's go, man. $70 because me, but you know, I'm gonna buy it anyway.